Greetings, greetings. You hold the key to the world's destiny. She loves anything that's hyped up because we're hyped up in this house. So when she hears music, she gets really hyped up. So she hears me singing, welcome to the channel. You are with Tanisha Ali of Butterfly Transformations, helping you to gain clarity, helping you to up-level that mindset, clear and heal energetic blockages so that you can manifest the glory of God. That is you. Today we're talking about how to know if you have a soft man. This stuff is important. Okay, Albie, I got to tell you to go. You got to hit the road, baby. Y'all, hold on a second. How to know if you have a soft man. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video as, but it's going to be a 3-part series. This is just the second part. Y'all, excuse me, but I did not make myself look presentable before I came on here. I just knew I needed to get a video in while I was feeling passionate about this topic. If you haven't purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, and you're trying to manifest the masterpiece of your life, which is your best life, your best version, feel free to pick up this book online. Shout out, by the way, to the beautiful, you all on the channel, always, you give me a lot of support on this channel, whether it's with the readings and bookings or ordering things. The book, a lot of you give wonderful commentary here on the channel over the years since I started it. Today I got a comment I wanted to acknowledge specifically. Miss Montoya, Doc, hello to Doc, much love to you. My sister, I am happy that the book is doing something for you. I am glad. It is not me, I'm just a vessel for whatever needs to come through as we peruse this third dimensional reality. So let's talk about these relationships. And by the way, I'm going to be doing more on relationships and dating for women in our phase of life. I'm going to be talking with a particular lady who's going out on dates on a regular basis and sharing some input. She's one of my clients, and she has been kind enough to allow me to share some of the things that she is experiencing. So look forward to that moving forward as we, go into the future. Some videos giving a little more specificity with regard to some of the things you need to look at when you are manifesting love or you are attracting love. Now remember, you're going to get a lot of frogs before the prince comes. Depending upon where you are in your journey with regard to the mate, for those of you who happen to be looking for one. Now, many of you are happy being in partnership with yourself, which is the most beautiful type of partnership other than being in partnership with the divine. So those are top tier. For those of you who are looking for building that connection with another human being, then these kinds of videos will be something hopefully that you can gain a lot from. I think the way I feel about relationships in general is that the more that you've had or the more experience that you've had, the more you learn about the different faces of quality relationships and the different faces of those people that you want to kick to the curb, the relationships that you don't want in your life. And so I feel like it's important to talk about these things more and more and more, because ultimately I am from the ilk that believes that the paradigm for relationships and marriages needs to change today. The old models no longer fit what today's divine feminine needs and what today's divine masculine needs, whether he realizes it or not. We're talking genders and energies, depending upon what persuasion you are. But there's a lot that has to shift because women are looking for more, they're desiring more, they are more in tune to what it is that they deserve, and it's time for a balancing to begin to occur. Now, by the same token, men can have a difficult time too finding a quality woman. But quite honestly, that's less of a problem than the other way around. And so we're going to be digging into more of these issues. Why? Because it's all about spirituality, and spirituality is everything, and everything is spirituality. Relationships are spirituality. Why? Because they reveal where you are on your spiritual journey. A relationship is one of the most challenging things to navigate. Why? Because it's through relationship that we learn most about ourselves, and we learn so much about the spiritual journey by way of relationship. They force us to go within and deal with the things that we don't want to deal with. So y'all know I can talk forever, so let me just get on with this. Today we're talking about ways for you to know you have a soft man. Now, the first video spoke about ways to identify an effeminate masculine. This will have a different title. I'm not sure what it is, but it's going to speak about the same thing, and there'll be 3 videos in this sequence. This is the second one, so be on the lookout for the next one, which will be in the queue in about a week or 2. Number 1, and by the way, before I get off on this discussion, where does this content come from? This content comes from my experiences. It comes from the experiences of the women that I work with each and every day. Some of them I'm a spiritual mentor to, and I coach them and I spiritually mentor them. Others of them are the hundreds of women that I deal with that come to me for relationship readings. I have been studying, gathering, and researching this topic for some time now, and there are just some basic commonalities that we must address. And I plan on addressing these more and more and more and more as we move forward, because they are of a spiritual nature and they have a lot to do with where you are in your life spiritually. All right. So first and foremost, this man, when he's soft, he'll find himself unemployed more often, in between jobs, or very picky about the kind of job that he'll take. He may also not have that sense of urgency to get out there and work. Oftentimes that's because he's living with maybe his mother, or he's depending upon the feminine to assist him, so the necessity to provide for himself and or his family is diminished. Any man who's comfortable laying down on the couch day after day after day after day, not securing his pentacles, not going after his bag, not doing the very things that define a sense of his manhood, not getting out there and striving to be the best that he can be by going after what he was given as a task by not only the creator and society, but by the very fabric of what he is made up of, that man has a problem. He's not going to be your go-to masculine. A man, let me explain something to you. A man, and ladies, sisters, and sisters that are not melanated, anybody, you need to really get this, and you need to understand this very well. I don't care where you are on the continuum of feminist, and a man should do this, and a woman should do this, and all of the role playing that we do. I'm not in that box either. But one thing I will tell you is that there's a reason why, and I'm going to be very frank, there's a reason why you have a vagina, and there's a reason why a man has a penis. Outside of the sexual connotations of that, it's an energy that we're talking about. Men penetrate, women receive at the most basic level. And I could go down this tangent forever, but I'm trying to get you in the headspace that I want you to be in when I present this point to you, or this additional point to you, to make my point very clear, or to make what it is I'm saying make sense to you. Men and women have certain hormones. We have certain biological responses to things. We have brains that function differently. We have different ways in which we process not only information, but the way that we process our environment, the way that we process chemicals and hormones, and a litany of different things. You don't get to be a man just because you have a penis. There's a lot more that goes to that. You don't get to be a woman just because you have a vagina. There are certain responsibilities that characterize someone who is a masculine. They are stronger for a reason. They're equipped. They have a body build that is a certain way for a reason. They have testosterone because of a certain universal and evolutionary decisions which have been made that we can't even comprehend. Women, the same thing. We process energy differently. Our brains are different. Our right and left brains analyze and assimilate information very differently from our masculine counterparts. We have a different predominance of certain hormones. We address life differently. This is outside of socialization I'm talking about. There's a reason why I can carry a baby naturally and a masculine cannot. We evolved, or we were created to be well suited for those things that are in alignment with our particular gender. I'm talking gender here right now. I'm talking gender. So, but you can apply it however you want to apply it. So, a man is equipped to be the stabilizer, the one who secures, the provider, and the maintainer. Bar none. I'm not saying a woman can't do it. Hell, I've done it. I'm not saying we can't do it and that we can't do it well and that we don't bring wonderful things to the table. The woman, by her nature, is designed or was created or has as her forte bringing balance into a situation, bringing varied perspectives into a situation, being the one who is the nurturer, and being the one who facilitates and supports. All right. So when let me explain this. Whenever you step outside of what your primary role is, there's going to be a problem. There's some imbalance that is going to occur that is going to put you in a situation where you're going to begin to manifest things in your life that are out of character with your nature. We haven't evolved to the point yet where that is not a topic for discussion. That is the reality. So when you have a man in your life and he's not in his masculine, men need to be working and providing and securing the empire, making sure that people don't scale the empire walls and come in and exploit, pillage, rape, and maim what is inside the walls of the empire. He has to be on that job. He has to be on the stick. If he's not doing that, he's not going to feel like a man. Okay? And if he doesn't feel like a man, then he's going to be in his feminine, and then he's going to do the only other thing that can sometimes make him feel like a man, which is go out and womanize and use his wand in order to feel like a man because he's not using his hands and his brain. I don't care what anybody says. You can take issue with me on this all day long, and I'll go to bat for this. This is a fact, and I believe this very deeply. In fact, I believe real men are not womanizers. Womanizing is different than being in polygyny. I'm not mixing the two up. Men who execute polygyny in the right way have certain societal expectations that they have to follow, like not sneaking around, like making sure that the feminines are all on board with it, like making sure, for example, that all the women are provided for before he takes another one. Most men out here today love to be womanizers because they could never fulfill the role of someone who is executing a relationship with multiple women in the right way. They could never fulfill that. So they hide behind sneaking and creeping and doing all of the other things. I digress. I'm not even really supposed to be on that, but I'm coming around to letting you know that a man must do the things that makes a man feel like a man. If he's not doing it, if he's not getting the bread for you, he's in somebody else's bed. And you better believe that. If he's not getting the bread for himself, if he's not working every day, if he's not grinding, if he's not doing the things that have been given to him as responsibilities by his very nature, then he's going to do the other thing, the only other thing that allows him to feel like a man. And it's not eating your dinner. It's not buying you flowers. It's not making sure that your house is secure and that you have a security alarm and that you have a weapon to protect yourself if need be, or anything else that maybe you feel is his responsibility. He's not going to be doing that. So if you have a man at home in your house and he doesn't want to work, or he can't keep a job, or he can't do what he's supposed to do, I guarantee you between this video and the next 3 videos, you're going to find that you resonate with a litany of other things that he's not doing that should have you come to the conclusion that he is a effeminate man, which means that there's some work that needs to be done on your part and on his part to bring things into balance. Because guess what? If he's not in his feminine, if he's not in his masculine, he's in his feminine. And if he's in his feminine, where are you going to have to be? Certainly not in your feminine. You can't afford to be, because you have to get the daily bread. You have to secure the house. You have to do what is his job and your job while he is doing what? Pursuing his hobbies, wasting time, nickel and diming the family finances. Who's doing what? Who's going to do the cooking? Little House on the Prairie. Number 2. Okay, that's very obvious. I want you to take that down the path to other things that you can assume with a man who's not working. And this is the same man who's picky about the kind of job he wants to take when he doesn't have one. This is what angers me with a lot of men out in society who fall into the statistic, who become a statistic, is they don't want to work at a gas station. They don't want to work at Walmart. They don't want to drive a cab, which Lyft today. They don't want to do all these other things, but they can't find a job and they have a family to take care of. You're not a man. I remember seeing a lot of people brothers included. And I'll be the last to bash a brother, but I'll be the first one to tell it like it is, because I am a sister. And I hadn't had a trifling man like that, but I've had some who were not doing everything that they needed to do. But at the time, I didn't know better. But I'm wiser now, and so are you, and that's why we're having this discussion. So I remember during times of sometime after 2008, there was a brother who was doing work for me. And at my school, I gave him tuition for his children in return for doing work. And he never got around to finishing paying off the tuition the way he was supposed to. And I remember it came down to, once I left the school and I ended up doing this full time, I was still staying in touch with him, trying to collect on the money that was owed to me before I finally gave him over to my husband to deal with. Being the trifling man that he was, he continued to say he wasn't working. He cried the blues, get out your violin. At the end of the day, there were plenty of jobs that were available, down to picking apples on the farms in Georgia and having your room and board taken care of for a man who wanted to work. For anybody who ever wants to work, there's always a job. I don't care what anyone says. Where there's a will, there's a way. Don't ever let a man who's responsible for your provisions give you a list of reasons why he can't find a job or why that job is not as good as this job. Everybody doesn't have that luxury. If you have a family to provide for and you consider yourself a man, you need to get your arse out there and you need to work like a man and you need to provide for your family. And if you're a woman and you have a man like that, you need to understand the ramifications of keeping that person around. Number 2, has little skills when it comes to fixing things and is not very mechanical and doesn't really care to learn either. He's unwilling or unable to help his feminine. And this is important, he derives little self-esteem from doing traditionally manly things. He doesn't mind if he sees you under the hood changing the oil. Oh, baby, you're doing a good job. He doesn't mind if you're bringing in the groceries, and then after that, once you put the groceries down on the table, you pick up the trash to take the trash out. He has no problems with watching you put up the blinds in the house and to fix things while maybe he's watching TV, or maybe he's having a beer if your man drinks, or maybe he's doing something else, or maybe he's out and doesn't want to tell you where he is. He has no problems with you doing the manly things and his deferring to you with regard to those things. He doesn't mind you taking on those extra responsibilities. In fact, he probably doesn't know the difference between a Phillips head and a regular screwdriver. Okay, he definitely doesn't know what a wrench is. So when you're dealing with people like this, you have to ask yourself how they got this way, why they are this way, and if they're going to be able to continue to stay this way with you. Number 3, misplaced priorities when it comes to issues related to being a stabilizer, and would rather play with his friends, drink tea, joyride, and hang out. I say drink tea because in other cultures, many of the men, they have a pastime of drinking tea the same way maybe brothers might hang out and have a cigarette or a smoke or take a few drinks. Maybe they have tea in different cultural groups, and maybe they're married to a wife who has 5 or 6 kids, and instead of being at home helping out also, which is part of the man's responsibility, they'd rather be out playing, joyriding, or whatever else. But essentially what I'm saying here is that the priorities are misplaced. A man's job is to stabilize the family. If outside of working and going out to get the daily bread, his free time or his time around the house or his time spent with you outside of doing the things that he needs to do to meet your needs. Because I got to tell you, being a man comes with a lot of responsibility. Whether God put that responsibility on their shoulders, whether society does, or you do. A lot of men don't understand what their responsibilities are. They think that the responsibilities are just physical. They have responsibility for spiritual leadership. They have the responsibility for mental and emotional leadership and support. So a lot of them, if they're wounded and not together themselves, women, you cannot be looking for these things from them, or you cannot have unrealistic expectations about what it is you're dealing with. But this man, his priorities are confused. Maybe he spends a lot of time on his hobbies, too much time, and maybe you're at home raising the kids, or maybe you work too, and maybe things are breaking down at the house and he's nowhere to be found because maybe he's joyriding on his motorcycle, or he's souping up his automobile, or whatever else that men do when they play instead of taking care of responsibilities. They've gotten away with that in this culture, as far as I'm concerned, it is a distorted masculine energy when it is done to excess. Granted, we need, I've got to watch my phone because my battery is running low. Granted, we need balance and everything, but we've got to decide what is balance and what is going too far to the other side. Just because you work every day, when your feminine is working as well, but she's working even if she's working outside the house or in the house. As a matter of fact, did you know that since the last 2 to 3 decades, we have about 85% of women are in the workforce, yet they are still doing over 90% of the traditional gender role responsibilities that they had to do when they were at home. So you have to ask, what is the masculine doing? Always keep in mind that the masculine, also part of his role and his energy, is to deliver and to rescue the feminine, to provide relief and support. Okay, that is also a part of his job. So if everything is falling on you and this person is not able to see their role, they're not in their full healthy masculine energy. And although most people don't attribute that kind of a behavior to being in the masculine, they figure being a man is sitting up all day after you worked and letting your wife serve you and doing all of these other things. That's beautiful, and that can be part of a woman's role, and many women enjoy that. We should enjoy that because it's a part of nurturing, and we love on our husbands and our family through nurturing them with food. Okay, but when someone does that at the expense of the household and they do it to be selfish, that's distorted masculinity. All right, distorted masculinity is not really being a man in the greatest in the greatest version of what that actually means. So this person has misplaced priorities. They don't understand that work is not the only thing that stabilizes the family, that there are many other roles and responsibilities that a divine masculine must take on in order to be the true stabilizer, security, and maintainer of his family. And so they waste time. They misappropriate their funds. They don't do the things that they need to do, and they have to be pushed and urged along to do those things that make life easier for the family, for the wife, for the children, for the partner, for the lover, so forth and so on. You need to watch out for these kind of men, because 9 times out of 10, they have a litany of other qualities also that are questionable. Next, spends more time in the mirror trying to look good than the typical woman. There's nothing wrong with a fine man. Okay, nobody's saying that. But when a man spends more time in the mirror than you do, and he looks as good as you do or better than you do, and he's more concerned about his wardrobe than you do, you have a problem on your hands. Because what he's trying to do is be eye candy for the masses, for the people out there. And eye candy is really your job. You don't have to try to be eye candy. You already are eye candy. But if he's spending time investing his energy in being eye candy, and he's profiling, and he's concerned about his physicality to the extent that that's a primary preoccupation for him, whether he's in the gym 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day, and as I speak to many of my feminine energy, many of my women friends, even on the dating sites, you see these men who are so concerned about putting these pictures up about how their bodies look. I have nothing against a man who's healthy and a man who works out, but that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about to the excess. Their physicality is more important to them than yours is, or they're on equal footing to you. Your job is to look beautiful, to feel beautiful. Women, part of the feminine energy is sensuality, the senses, appealing to the senses, enjoying and luxuriating in those things that smell good, that look good, that feel good, all of those things that sound good. That's our energy. So when a man is preoccupied with that, you need to be concerned. Next. I also put down here, that's a feminine trait. This means he's trying to attract women. I already said that attraction is a feminine trait. Think about it. Attraction is a feminine trait. We attract. You hear me talk about that with the Empress card all the time. We magnetize, we attract. We are not to be out there forcing our way through. That is the man's job. His is the outward momentum, the action orientation, the taking steps, the moving forward, the fire energy, the breakthrough energy, the transformational energy. That's the masculine energy. When your man is not in that energy and he's doing the things like what you do, you need to be concerned. All right, next. He has no problem with his divine feminine making the bacon, bringing the money home. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. If you have a man that you are supporting financially, you need to stop. Just stop, and stop now. Stop today. Stop in the next second. Set some boundaries. Set some new expectations. Pull back. It is not a woman's job. Let me put it like this. When you have children, they're under your governance. Whether the man is with you or not, you brought these children to this planet. It's on you to take care of them. But even when you have minors, when you have children, you really can't take care of them unless you take care of yourself. So it is certainly not your responsibility to take care of another able-bodied human being, especially when they are a man. You have no business taking on the financial, physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional needs of a man. You have no business paying his bills, paying his cell phone, taking care of his children from another relationship. I don't care if he's having a hard time or not, especially if he's not your husband. But even when he's your husband, you have to be careful and make sure that this is more of the exception than the rule. You are grooming someone and teaching them how to treat you in every single way that you allow them to come to you or to interact with you. When a man is relying on you for his sustenance, that puts you as the provider, the sustainer, and the maintainer. And then he also wants you to be in the feminine energy, but he can't be in the masculine energy. So you become depleted, you become resentful, you become unable to be the balance within yourself, which is the balance of your masculine and feminine. You simply cannot do that, which means you're going to be more in your masculine energy, and you're going to be carrying a load that you were not cut out for. You are cut out to take care of your kids, but you are not ever cut out biologically, physiologically, from an evolutionary standpoint, to take care of a man. So if you are doing that, you need to stop, you need to cut it out, and you need to just no longer do that as of today. It is something that will bring your relationship out of balance faster than anything else. And besides, I tell my clients this, once you start giving a man money, it muddies the water. Once you start taking care of him, he's not going to ever really be able to maintain you. He's not going to desire to maintain you because he sees you as somebody who can take care of themselves. And in the worst situation, he then will still not take on the other masculine responsibilities that he needs to take care of. While we care and we love our men, you have to step back and you have to allow them to own what are their responsibilities. The days of joining the Foreign Legion are over when you have a family, when you get married, especially when you have children. You have male children in your household, and they watch their father lay up on their mother, or they watch a masculine energy lay up on their mother. What kind of nationhood building is that going to teach them? How are they going to learn what their role, what the proper role model is? If you have a man who's in between jobs, then you need to deal with him once he gets a job. I'm sorry. You're not there to fulfill somebody's dream. You're not there to give somebody a leg up for an extended period of time. There's nothing wrong with helping anyone, but what I want you to see are the things that lead to your demise, the demise that was unplanned, something that was unintentional, and something that blindsides you. You have to watch out for that. Number 6, has trouble securing his woman financially and in terms of protection. This is someone whose main concern is not your safety, if your home is secure. Do you have a weapon? Not that you need a weapon, but do you have an escape plan? Are you going to be out all hours of the night running errands? Is this person going to get in the car and go with you if something comes up that you need to leave out of the house with? Literally. For many, many years before our schedules changed, my husband, if I left something at the office and I had to go to the office, he would get in the car and follow me over there and sit outside the parking lot. Whenever I had male clients and I felt some kind of way about that energy, Either it was on the during the booking, or it became a habit, meaning sometimes you pick up an energy during booking, or you feel something that's a little bit ambiguous. He would just sit out in the parking lot just to make sure that everything was okay all the time. Okay, concerned about your safety, making sure that you know how to handle yourself, making sure that you know how to change a spare tire if something happens, making sure that your AAA insurance is up to date when you are driving out there every day in case you have an emergency and he's not able to get to you. There's a litany of different things. Checking the house, making sure it's secure at night. All of those things that are required for your maintenance, your physical maintenance, health and safety, but also your financial safety. Okay? Ensuring that you have everything that you need and more than you need, and that if you have a need, then you're able to come to him, that you're not having to go to your mother or your sister or another feminine energy or maybe your father, that you're getting what you need from him. That is the job of a husband. And if he has trouble doing that, then you need to put into place some mechanisms to help grow him into the responsibilities that he is here to afford it. Okay? Not only by you in society, but by any model of what manhood is really about. So be wary of that. Number 7, he's happy to defer to his woman in many areas. In other words, he's passive. Could be passive in finances. Oh, babe, you manage the finances. Nothing wrong with a woman managing the finances. She may be a better financial manager. But what else is he deferring to you on? The major decisions. How are we going to do this? How are we going to take care of that? How are we going to pay for this? If you are in the masculine energy and he's laying up on you, he has no impetus and there's no catalyst for him to take action. There simply is not. He will defer everything else to you. And then you'll find the things that are more masculine, he'll defer to you, whether it's a repair, paying for something, getting something fixed. But then he'll be in your business or he'll be in your grill as it relates to things that are really not his concern, that are more feminine responsibilities or typically feminine stereotypical gender roles. So you have to be very, very mindful of that. What are the things that this person is concerned about, and where are they deferring to you, and where are they more passive? Number 8, and this is important, an overly effeminate man or an emasculated man or soft man is going to be with a woman in most cases who is more in her masculine energy. In fact, because a woman is the perfect complement for a man and vice versa, if one of them falls out of balance, we're talking about yin and yang, then the other becomes imbalanced, right? When a woman, this is what I believe, men and women complement each other and are perfect matches. When a woman is with a masculine man, she naturally defers to him, and there should be quite a bit of ease of movement in that relationship. In this society, gender roles, energy roles, everything is kind of upside down. People are not taking responsibility for what is theirs. They're not taking responsibility for their inner wholeness either. But when you have a man who is soft like this, it forces the woman to be more in her masculine energy. Number one, the man doesn't really feel respected. How can he be? Because he's not in his masculine energy. He's not fulfilling his masculine role because she is. How on earth, if she's providing for the family, paying for the bills, going out to work every day, and it goes even for the man who's sitting at home saying he doesn't mind raising the children. Okay, well, what else doesn't he mind doing? And what is it that allows you to run out there and do all of those things and take over his responsibilities and still be in your full feminine? You're kidding yourself. But trust me, I'm one of those people that believe women can do it all. Okay, but you can't do it all and be in balance. Okay, something has to give. If you are earning the daily bread and you're not getting assistance from the masculine and you're taking care of another adult, it's going to cost you. It doesn't matter what area of life that you are in. You could be running a business and you may be doing more physical work than the masculine is. It's going to create issues. You could be out in the world and you could be the primary wage earner, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you may have a man who's in between jobs or not carrying his weight, and it's going to create a natural energetic imbalance. So trust me when I tell you this, This is very, very, very important. We must be in our energetic roles, and we must be able to fulfill what is ours to fulfill. When you're living on your own, different story. When you're taking care of your kids, different story. Even that has some things you have to mitigate if you happen to be a single mother. But for sure, when you have a masculine energy in your life, this is something that you cannot fall down on. Now, I'm getting ready to get to number 9, 10, 11. I'm going to have to break this into the third part of the video. So I'm going to finish up this number 8. I want to talk a little bit more about it creates an imbalance that if the people are able to still have a relationship and the relationship is surviving, it creates a lot of tension there, because the man will have feelings of inefficacy. The man will have feelings of insecurity. And in order to mask that insecurity, he will then go out and sexually pursue other women in order to feel more dominant and in order to feel more masculine. Now, granted, it's definitely easier to do that for some than to get a job and to be the provider and to be responsible and to do all of those other things. But when a man is not a man in a relationship, and the woman cannot depend on him, because that's what ends up happening. The woman is not able to depend on her husband, and when she's not able to depend on her husband, then that brings other imbalances. So what you have is two people who are now subject to outside forces and are subject to other energies that create discontent within a relationship when the man is not doing what he's supposed to do, and the woman has to take on what really are traditionally his responsibilities and what energetically he's actually more suited for. His nature is equipped to go out and get the daily bread. When a woman is supporting a family, she has a man at home, she's open to other types of energetic overload and stresses that a man is equipped to handle. Women manage stress differently. They manage anxiety differently. We have a different hormonal, biological, and evolutionary makeup. These things have to be taken into consideration. When a woman has children, that energy is even compounded, and you're going to see a lot of imbalance within the home, within the relationship between the masculine and feminine, the husband and wife, or the two lovers, and within the relationship that the men has with the children and the women has with the children. This is getting kind of long, so I'm going to stop, but I will be making sure that you are able to tune in to the third video discussing this particular topic. You are with Tanisha Ali, helping you to gain clarity, up-level your mindset, and heal energetic blockages so you can manifest the glory of God that is within you. Manifesting Your Masterpiece is the book here. Also, with regard to I Am Melanin Magic, if you are looking for hair growth, beautiful skin in the way of anti-aging serums and acne made with these healing hands, check out the information in the description so that you can order both. I love you guys. Thank you for coming and spending some part of your day with me. I hope that you will continue to come back, and please feel free to give some input, some commentary, and some perspective and some love by sharing in the comments. Love you. Bye, guys. Ladies and gentlemen.